Here's a sentence that would have been considered complete fiction just 5 years ago. Right now, brand new Toyotas are rolling off an assembly line in China with a Chinese heart beating inside them. Not a budget battery from some obscure supplier, not a temporary compromise while engineers figure out something better. We're talking about BYD's Blade battery, the most talked about battery cell in the world, powering a car that carries Toyota's logo on the hood. Let that sit for a second. Toyota, the company that single-handedly taught the global auto industry how to eliminate waste. The inventor of the production system that every car company on Earth still studies, the brand that turned reliability into a religion. That Toyota just put a Chinese battery inside its flagship electric SUV and priced it at $18,000. Not $38,000, not $28,000, $18,000. If you're in the auto industry right now, that number isn't just a price tag. It's a flare going up in the middle of the night. Stay with me, because this story is far deeper than one car deal. This is about who controls the future of transportation and why the answer might already be decided. The student nobody took seriously. To understand how we got here, you need to go back to 1995. A 29-year-old chemist named Wang Chuanfu walked away from his government research job in Beijing with borrowed money, roughly $300,000 from his cousin, and 20 employees in a rented factory in Shenzhen. He called the company BYD, which stood for Build Your Dreams. People laughed at the name. They laughed louder when he bought a struggling Chinese car manufacturer in 2003. BYD's stock tanked. Analysts called it reckless. One fund manager compared it to a battery company buying a shovel factory. But Wang wasn't thinking about 2003. He was thinking about 2023. His logic was devastatingly simple. The combustion engine is a system of controlled explosions, brutally complex, with thousands of moving parts. An electric vehicle at its core is a battery on wheels. If you own the battery technology, if you understand cells at a molecular level better than anyone else alive, then eventually you own the car. Warren Buffett saw it before Tokyo did. In 2008, Berkshire Hathaway paid $232 million for roughly 10% of BYD. Charlie Munger, who spent his life studying exceptional businesses, compared Wang Chuanfu to a combination of Thomas Edison and Jack Welch. This was before BYD made a single electric car for the mass market. Buffett was buying the mind behind the battery for the next decade. BYD quietly built something the traditional automakers didn't have. Vertical integration so deep it's almost architectural. BYD makes its own steel. It designs its own chips. It manufactures its own motors, its own seats, its own glass in certain models. The battery, the component that represents over 35% of an EV's total cost, is entirely in-house. When you understand that, the $18,000 price tag stops being magic and starts being math. The Blade battery, what nobody explains properly. When BYD unveiled the Blade battery in 2020, most Western automotive coverage treated it as a Chinese novelty. Interesting, but probably overhyped. That was a catastrophic misread. Here's what makes the Blade different, and why engineers who've torn it apart describe it as genuinely elegant engineering rather than just cost-cutting. Traditional lithium-ion battery packs work in a layered hierarchy. Individual cells get packaged into modules, and modules get packaged into a pack. Every layer of packaging adds weight, takes up space, and costs money. The Blade battery eliminated the module layer entirely, the cells themselves long, flat, blade-shaped slot directly into the structural frame of the pack. The battery is the structure. This does several things at once. It's lighter for the same energy capacity. It's more space efficient. And because the cells are arranged in a way that distributes thermal stress more evenly, it's dramatically safer. BYD ran a demonstration that's become famous in battery engineering circles. They drove a steel nail straight through a Blade battery cell in a standard NMC lithium cell. That kind of penetration causes what engineers call thermal runaway temperatures can spike past 500 degrees Celsius in seconds, and the result is a fire that's almost impossible to extinguish. When they drove the nail through the blade cell, the surface temperature barely rose above 60 degrees. No smoke, no fire. The cell kept functioning. That's not a party trick. That's physics. The LFP chemistry B uses is inherently more thermally stable than the nickel-manganese-cobalt chemistry most Western and Japanese automakers preferred. Combined with the pack architecture, you get a battery that is structurally integrated, thermally safe, and manufacturable at a cost that BYD's competitors have been trying to reverse engineer ever since. Toyota reportedly bought multiple BYD vehicles specifically to disassemble them. When one teardown analysis was presented at an industry seminar in Japan, engineers in the room reportedly sat in stunned silence. The question that kept coming up wasn't technical, it was existential. How do you compete with this? Toyota's answer, at least for China, was to stop competing with it and start buying it. The Toyota that got caught sleeping. Here's the part that Toyota's part team would rather you not dwell on. In 2022, Toyota launched the bZe4X, its first serious attempt at a global battery electric vehicle. Within 6 weeks of going on sale, Toyota issued an emergency recall. The reason? The wheels could loosen and detach while driving, not might cause handling issues. Detach, as in fall off the car. Owners were told not to drive them at all until further notice. This wasn't just embarrassing, it was symbolically devastating. Toyota's entire brand identity is built on the premise that their vehicles are engineered to a standard of reliability that others can't match. The bZe4X recall didn't just dent sales numbers, it shook the foundational trust that Toyota had spent 70 years earning. Meanwhile, the broader numbers were even more unsettling. In 2025, Toyota sold a record 10.5 million vehicles and remained the world's largest automaker by volume. Impressive headline. But fewer than 2% of those sales were fully electric. In Japan, Toyota's home market, they sold just 4,000 battery electric vehicles in the entire year. Not 4,000 per month. 4,000 for 12 months. And in China, the ground was shifting under them in real time. In 2020, Japanese brands collectively held roughly 25% of the Chinese car market in every 4 vehicles sold. By 2025, that figure had collapsed to fewer than 10%. Mitsubishi didn't just lose market share, they packed up their Chinese operations entirely and went home. Honda and Nissan began cutting jobs and shuttering factories. The Chinese EV market didn't just grow, it replaced the combustion-era hierarchy almost entirely. And it did so at a pace that the incumbent manufacturers genuinely did not believe was possible. The 18,000 Toyota, and why Japan is treating this like a national emergency. Now let's talk about the bZe5, because the details here matter more than the headline number. The bZe5 is not a stripped-down economy vehicle with Toyota branding slapped on to hit a price point. It's a mid-size coupe SUV roughly the footprint of a Tesla Model Y, measuring 4,780 millimeters in length with a 2,880 millimeter wheelbase. It has a 15.6-inch central touchscreen. Toyota's new ADAS system called Toyota Pilot, powered by Momenta 5.0 technology that uses 33 sensors, enabling over 30 driver assistance features. With LiDAR added on higher trims, the 200 kW front-mounted motor from BYD's Fine Dreams division delivers 268 horsepower and 330 nanometers of torque, enough for a 0-100 km/h sprint in approximately 7 seconds. It comes in 4 variants. The base model uses a 65.28 kWh blade battery with a CLTC-rated range of 550 kilometers. The top-spec 630 Pro uses a 73.98 kW pack and claims 630 kilometers of range Tokyo to Osaka on a single charge. Charging from 30% to 80% takes roughly 27 minutes. Pricing runs from 129,800 yuan, approximately 18,000, to 159,800 yuan, approximately 22,000. For context, the base Tesla Model Y in China starts at 263,500 yuan. The bZe5 costs less than half that. Now think about what this means for the global conversation about electric vehicles being too expensive. Toyota just produced evidence that a well-specified, technologically sophisticated electric SUV from a globally trusted brand can retail for $18,000 and still be profitable enough to build. The reason it's possible is sitting in the floor of the car. Bide's blade battery, manufactured at a cost structure that Toyota, with its current supply chain, simply cannot replicate on its own. This is why Japanese industry insiders describe the deal not as a pragmatic partnership, but as a controlled surrender on a critical front. Toyota didn't buy BYD batteries because they liked them. They bought them because the alternative was handing China's EV market to Bide entirely, one more year at a time. And the deal is already working. Toyota was the only major Japanese brand that grew in China in 2025, powered entirely by exactly these China-built Bide-cored electric vehicles. A scoreboard nobody wants to look at. Let's be precise about where Bide stands today, because the numbers are genuinely staggering if you track them over time. In 2025, Bide sold over 2.2 million fully electric vehicles, officially dethroning Tesla as the world's largest pure EV seller. That's before counting its millions of plug-in hybrid sales. Overseas shipments more than doubled year over year, with factories either operating or under construction in Thailand, Brazil, Hungary, and Uzbekistan. But the technology pipeline is where things get truly uncomfortable for incumbents. In March 2025, ID unveiled a megawatt-class charging platform capable of adding approximately 400 kilometers of range in 5 minutes. Not 20 minutes. Not 10 minutes. 5. Wang Chuanfu's stated goal is to make charging emotionally equivalent to filling a tank with gasoline fast enough that drivers stop thinking about it as a constraint. IID is simultaneously building out thousands of its own superflash charging stations across China to support the platform, and they're not stopping at current chemistry. IBAD has its solid-state battery roadmap now in public view. Demonstration vehicles equipped with solid-state cells beginning in 2027, with mass production scaling toward 2030. The target energy density for these cells is 400 Wh/kg, more than double the energy density of current LFP blade cells, with an unofficial target range north of 1,500 kilometers and charging times of approximately 12 minutes. Think about what that means. The battery that is currently inside a Toyota BZ5, the battery that enabled an 18,000 SUV with 630 kilometers of range is, by Bide's own roadmap, a transitional technology. Toyota's bet and the window that's closing. It would be unfair and inaccurate to portray Toyota as a passive victim in all of this. They are making their own move, and it's a serious one. Toyota, in partnership with material supplier Idemitsu, is targeting production of solid-state battery vehicles around 2027 to 2028. Their stated performance targets are ambitious, at ranges of 750 to over 1,000 kilometers, charging in under 10 minutes, and significant cost reductions over current lithium-ion packs. Toyota has invested along with Japanese government and industry partners a combined 1 trillion yen, approximately 7 billion, toward next-generation battery infrastructure. Here's the problem. Toyota has been publicly promising solid-state battery vehicles since around 2020. The target date has moved at least twice. The 2027 to 2028 timeline is the current commitment. But the industry has learned to read Toyota's battery announcements with cautious skepticism. Meanwhile, RID, which was largely dismissed as just a battery company by Japanese auto executives as recently as 2019, is now targeting the same 2027 window with its own solid-state demonstration vehicles. This is the competitive dynamic that should frighten anyone inside Toyota's RD division. The gap that Toyota was supposed to open with advanced battery chemistry may not exist, or it may open and close within the same product cycle, with BYD following just months behind. While Toyota promises the next battery, BYD is shipping this one. and it's inside Toyotas, the move that changes the map entirely. Here is the detail that most coverage glosses over, and it might be the most significant part of this entire story. At the Japan Mobility Show in Tokyo, I unveiled the Seagull, a purpose-built K-car. For anyone outside, K-cars are small displacement, compact vehicles built to specific Japanese government regulations. They are not a niche product. K-cars represent roughly 40% of all vehicles sold in Japan every single year. This segment has been considered structurally inaccessible to foreign manufacturers, too specific, too culturally embedded, too dominated by Suzuki, Daihatsu, and Honda to penetrate. Bai didn't just enter the segment, they built a vehicle specifically designed for it, priced around 2.5 million yen, targeting a Japan launch in 2025 and 2026. Read that again slowly. A company whose battery is now inside Toyota's electric SUV is simultaneously launching a direct attack on the segment that represents nearly half of Toyota's home market. ID is no longer just inside Toyota's cars. They're coming for Toyota's driveway. What this means for every car you'll ever buy. Step back from the specific players for a moment and look at the structural shift. For the first century of the automobile, the heart of a car was the internal combustion engine. Every geopolitical, economic, and technological advantage flowed from who understood that engine best. Japan mastered it. Detroit built empires around it. Germany engineered it to extremes. In the electric era, the heart of a car is the battery, the manufacturing know-how, the chemistry expertise, the supply chain control, the production scale. These have all accumulated in one place over the past 3 decades, and that place is Shenzhen, not Aichi. It's Wang Chuanfu's company, not Akio Toyota's. When Toyota puts Bai's battery inside a Toyota-branded car, they aren't just sourcing a component. They are acknowledging, in the most practical and expensive way possible, that the competitive center of gravity in the automobile industry has moved. They are paying the student. The question is whether Toyota's solid-state gamble arrives in time to change the equation, and whether it arrives before Bai builds its own solid-state cars and undercuts the next era the same way it undercut the current one. History suggests we should not assume Toyota gets there first, the only question that matters now. Here's what I want you to sit with. There's a factory in China right now producing vehicles with a Toyota badge, a Bai battery, a Bai motor, and a price tag of $18,000. At that intersection of brand trust, battery technology, and price, something fundamental is happening to the global auto market. The rules are being rewritten not in boardrooms in Tokyo or Stuttgart or Detroit, but in the teardown labs and battery workshops of Shenzhen. Every major automaker is watching. Every country with a domestic auto industry is watching. Because whoever controls the battery controls the car. And right now, one company controls both. Would you buy a Toyota with a Bai battery inside? Does the badge still matter when the technology underneath it belongs to someone else? Drop your take in the comments. I read every one of them. If this breakdown hit differently than what you normally see about the EV race, hit subscribe. I go places most automotive channels won't, because this industry is being rewritten in real time, and the stories that actually matter are usually the ones that don't make the front page. The next video is already queued. You'll want to see it.